Welcome to Exposure Therapy, where we talk about random shit for photography and videography. You know, a little dabble in that. First things first, I guess we'll start off with an easy topic. Let's talk about profile pictures with photographers. Who the f are you? Why do you photographers not have themselves as their profile pictures? Like, and not only that, but then they don't have any pictures at all. Like, you don't know who you're working with. Models showing up, they don't even know what you look like. What do you think about that?
So I stand strong on this topic because I believe, first of all, I get a lot of photographers. They ask me advice regarding a bunch of different business tips and advice. And one of my first pieces of advice, besides shooting a manual, is show yourself. Like, put yourself as your profile picture. Maybe have a post of you pan, post yourself on your story, post behind the scenes what you do. Your clients, they want to see who they're working with. They don't want to just see, I don't know, you have a picture of a model that you took a picture of and you're like, oh, it's my favorite photo, or you have a logo. Like, you're literally a personal brand of yourself, and you are the one that your clients are working with.
Awesome. I agree with that. Yeah, I'm the same way. I tell people all the time, like, how are people supposed to hire you? How are models supposed to feel comfortable working with you if they don't know who you are? So, and that goes into people hiring you, because you need to make that connection, that interpersonal connection. They need to know who you are. I like to hop on a video chat with a client before I work with them, so then they see my face, they know who I'm talking to, and then so I know who I'm working with, because you don't want to work with just anybody, and you want to see if the vibes are there. If you want to make sure you can accomplish what they need. I think that's a very, very important thing, especially if you're beginning. You should do it from the get-go.
Oh yeah.
All right. Next one.
You want me to say it?
Do you have okay, go ahead. You got it.
So this one might be a controversial topic, but we're gonna talk about it. First episode, we're gonna hop straight into this. Pricing.
Oh shit, okay.
So pricing is a controversial topic because depending who you ask, someone to be like, oh, you're charging too much. Someone to be like, oh, you're not charging enough. But you have to really obviously know your position in the field. And whenever, if you feel like you have any input, feel free, join in. So like, for example, you're starting out. Maybe, I don't know, like, you can't just pick up a camera one day and start charging $500 right off the bat. But then also, you don't want to do the work for free. Well, you might have to start off, like, hit up your friends, get something to really build that portfolio. But try not to do it for too long. Once you have a decent portfolio built up, start charging. And increase your rates as your experience continues to grow and you invest more into your business and that stuff. Because you realize, give yourself 3 years down the line, you'll sit there and you'll think about the time that you told a client that you were gonna take their pictures for $75 and they told you that was too much. When then you'll be making $500 for a client, and literally you'll tell them that price and they won't even question it. They'll say, I like your work, I trust you, let's do it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I started off, I think my first few photo shoots, I think I did 2 or 3 free photo shoots, and then my third or fourth, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna charge like $25 just to make sure gas is covered at least. And then I went to $50, and then I went to 100, and then I went to 200, and then I went to 300. When I went between like that 200 300 range, you start feeling like some imposter syndrome. You're like, damn, like that's a lot. But you really just got to be comfortable, and imposter syndrome is gonna hit you all the time. Like, I'm over 5 years in, and I still get imposter syndrome. And I raised my prices recently too, because I was just like, oh, fuck it. I've done enough. I know enough, and I have never had a client not satisfied with the photos. Like, I've had I've had some where it's like, you know, I know I could have done a little bit better, but at the same time, like the quality was still there. The deliverables were still there. I never like fucked up a shoot that bad where I can't send that shit out. I did fuck up once. I shot a shoot in JPEG instead of RAW when I was starting out, and I needed to edit it pretty heavily. And I couldn't, dude. I was like, fuck. It was a little darker too.
I don't know what happened. So mind you, this was one of my like biggest clients, biggest shoot that I've done back in July. Luckily, I made sure I checked my camera and I had everything ready before I started this session. I was doing, it was a big project, whatever. I was making sure I had my camera settings ready, whatever, setting it up, and I was like hyped. I was like, you know, like this is a big, like a stepping stone. Somehow in the process of me setting up my settings, luckily I caught this before I even started taking, luckily I caught this before I even started taking a single photo. I look closely, I don't see the RAW icon. I see it says JPEG. And I was like, I never put my camera in JPEG, so I must have accidentally hit some button that threw into JPEG. But luckily I caught it then and there, switched it back to RAW, and I was chilling the rest of the session.
Yeah, dude, that didn't happen to me. I realized I shot in JPEG once I got home. I was like, no fucking way. Like when I went to upload the photos, but I ended up, and I needed to blow one of the photos up and frame it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't do that anymore because I feel like it's just not worth going through all that trouble, going to the store, framing it, finding a frame for them. Like, exactly, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that was my lesson right there, and I never switched my settings after that to JPEG. I was like, fuck that. I'm never going back, and yeah. All right, so I think that wraps that conversation up. Okay, I have a good one. Let's see. How do you feel when a model looks at you, straight face, she's like, she or he, can I have all the raw photos too? How do you feel? How do you feel about that? They look at you, they're like, oh, I like to edit, but you mind if I have all the raw photos for my portfolio too? How do you feel about that?
Why are you gonna work with a photographer if you don't want the photos edited in their style? In my case, what I do now is I send previews where you can pick, but I'm not gonna let you have the raw photos. Maybe depending on whatever circumstances you could pay extra for, but why are you gonna have your photographer go out of the way, edit the photos? For example, let's say you give them 10 photos. Why are you gonna have your photographer edit 10 photos for you? And then on top of that, be like, hey, can I have the rest? I'm like, you better not be posting the raw photos because you're hiring your photographer to edit in their style and retouch and do all the extra details. But the question I thought you were gonna say, I thought you were gonna ask when the model tells you, can you Photoshop that? Can you make me look skinny? That's the question I hate, because I'm just like, first of all, like, be confident in yourself. Don't go to your photographer, expect them to be Dr. Miami or something. Like, that's not our job. We didn't go to school for that.
I'll hit both of those topics. First one, so raw files, absolutely not. If I'm working with a model, doesn't matter if you paid me, unless it's like an exorbitant amount. Like, I won't release the raw files. With brands, with businesses, completely different story. You charge for usage, you charge for all the raw files. But if it's a model, I don't think there's literally any reason. I model myself. Like, if anything, I'll ask the photographer if they're comfortable, be like, hey, like, I'm a photographer too. I know how to edit professionally. You know, do you mind if I edit them? If not, totally cool. Like, I'm not pressed about it. But someone that just doesn't know how to edit, they don't necessarily need the raw files. Like, I don't see a reason to release them because there's no need. It's part of the process. Like, editing is like 50% of the artistic process for photographers. And it's like, I paint a picture and I just do the outline. I do all the base colors, and then I hand it to you. what is the point of that?
Yeah.
It's like you could tell it's an art piece, but it's completely unfinished. So that's how I feel about that. With Photoshop, that shit gonna charge you extra. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I mean, if you got the bread, like, you know, I'll do it, but I'm not about to change you as a person. Like, I'm not gonna make you look like Kim Kardashian. I've had some older women, like, I go to events and shoot, and they're like, oh, make me look like Kim Kardashian, like, edit it. I'm like, of course they're joking a little bit, kinda, but I'm like, you're so funny. Like, I just push it off as a joke, and I, like, do not take them serious. I will never do that unless it's like super high-end editorial shoot, beauty shoot, where I have to edit certain features on the face, you know, even out eyebrows, even out skin texture, of course, like the usual stuff you do. But I'm not gonna do nothing crazy unless you know, pay extra for that, because that's an extra like hour or two of editing. So that's how I feel about that. All right. Next topic.
Next topic. I didn't have anything. I hit the main two that I had directly there.
Oh, you don't have anything else?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll bring something else up. Okay, so I got another one. Let's see. Okay. What are you doing? Model comes up to you. She or he says, your camera takes amazing pictures. Your camera takes amazing pictures. See, me personally, I'm putting my camera down and I'm looking at it and I'm like, you got it. Do what you got to do. And I'm looking at the model. I'm looking at my camera. I'm looking at the model. Looking at the camera. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
That's exactly what I would do. I'm gonna set my camera down, and I'm gonna be like, you know what? My camera takes great pictures. The camera is just gonna sit there and it's gonna do the work. And then we'll see what works. What gets done. We'll see what gets done.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, a bunch of people can press a button, but there's settings, there's angles, there's so much more creativity that goes behind just like the camera. So, like, I feel like I could take better pictures with a cheaper camera than a lot of people with a really expensive setup. Because if you don't know your settings, you don't know how to use a camera, you're fucked. That's it. Like, you're not doing good work.
Like, if I were to show you guys, I have some photos that I took on a $300 DSLR with a nifty 50 lens. If I were to show you these photos, I guarantee you would not be able to tell that this camera was $300, probably even $250 something. So that's there to show you that it's not really all about the gear. Yeah, the gear can help you get to another level because you have extra features. Maybe a certain piece of equipment is better in low light, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's all just on the skill that you know. Use whatever gear you have. Build from that. Really take the time to learn all your settings. Once you really feel like you've outgrown that and you're ready to learn something new, then that's when you should upgrade. You never upgrade prematurely. Really wait till you're at the right point and you feel fully ready to get to the next step. That's what I usually do with my gear upgrades.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I waited, I think, 2 years before I upgraded my Nikon Z50 to Sony A7R III. Sonys are amazing, which will lead us into our next topic, actually. So, because I shoot photo and video, so I definitely, I think Sonys are a little bit better in that sense, where they're more versatile, especially with the autofocus and everything. And I've been shooting with the A7R III for like over 3 years now. Sony, if you're watching this, I want an A7R5. Send me one, please. I'll do a video on it, please. But anyways, yeah, and throughout the 3 years, like, I've gotten better and better. I didn't change the camera. I just learned my settings. I learned the exposure triangle. I learned the rule of thirds way better. I learned how to implement just everything into my photography so much better. and it just elevated my my work. I learned lighting so much. Like about like year 3 or 4, maybe like year 4, like beginning of year 4, I really started to like dive into lighting because I got my first strobe, and then I went on. I got 2 more strobes, and I got LED panels like with RGB lights. So I have like crazy setup that I have now, and it helps me so much with experimenting with testing out lighting, see what works, what doesn't, and yeah.
I agree. Strobes, definitely. Don't just go buy a strobe off the bat. Really wait till you're ready. Because for me, for example, I was in the same boat. I had my first camera that I mentioned was the $250 camera. I got that as a Christmas gift. That was a Canon Rebel T100. That really helped me a lot because it was super bare bones. I was very able to learn off of that. Really got to understand, obviously learning rule of thirds, the exposure triangle, you name it. Then I bought, it was a cheaper speed light from Best Buy. That thing literally used AA batteries, and if you take too many pictures, the thing will burn out.
Same. Dude, I still use one of those on-camera flashes with the AA battery.
I got so frustrated with it, but it gets the job done if you need it. But definitely, like, once you get to the point, like, invest in one that has like a rechargeable battery. It'll save you a lot. But after that, I was using that for a while. I had gotten my last camera, which is my Canon RP. That was my first mirrorless camera. That was great opportunity for me. I really got to dive into new experiences, have a lot of firsts, as I like to say. That one I was still using the same flash then, and it literally wasn't until, you know what, it was, I believe, the end of 2023. I remember I was doing a couple grad shoots at FAU in Boca, and I would see the other photographers there with the whole strobe light setup, whatever, the soft boxes, and I was like, you know what? I was like, within the year, I was like, that's gonna be me. And then my clients are super generous from that shoot, and they all like paid me extra on top because they just love the experience and the service.
Oh yeah.
So I used that bonus to go ahead and buy a strobe, and 2024 for me was the year of the strobe. I literally just got to just get creative and shoot in direct sunlight, shoot in low light. Newer Vision 4. If you're ever looking for a strobe, newer Vision 4. Newer, if you're watching this and you want to send me any accessories, feel free to email me.
Me too.
Yeah, email him too. Email both of us. Send us stuff.
Emails will be in the description. So.
Yeah, and then after that, yeah, I bought a new speed light. It was the newer Z1, also newer. I got that because I was tired of having to change out batteries, and I wanted just something a little bit more. And literally, I kid you not, the same day that thing came in the mail, did a shoot literally that night. I was like, I don't shoot at night, but I want to test this out at night. It was definitely worth it, and I got to really mess around with that in other lighting conditions, to the point where I felt like I basically was not even using my strobe anymore. But I still have the strobe. I still use it occasionally for more professional studio style work. But for kind of everyday, just running gun shoots, I'll just throw on the speed light and I'll call it a day. So this topic is a controversial topic, but hear me out. NANI? As a photographer, even as a model as well, in the creative field, not every opportunity will be for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you were about to say some crazy shit.
So what I mean by that is you may get an inquiry for a certain opportunity. Maybe it could be something paying good. You may depending on your circumstances, you may decide, you want to take it, whatever. But my advice to anybody starting out is don't just take any opportunity for money. Really be selective with your work. Trust me, it will be worth it in the long run. You may have to take opportunities that you don't fully like, but then also really be able to just assess your situations. Don't overpromise. Let's say somebody wants you to do, I'm trying to think of a good example. Let's say somebody wants you to photograph a wedding, and you're only in your first year of photography. They want you to photograph a wedding that's for like 12 hours, something large scale. You may have to say no or get the right assistance that you need. Really depends. Obviously, hire somebody, outsource work,
second shooter or something.
Because if you say yes to a higher ticket opportunity when you're not fully ready, you may run into some errors. For example, I have, this is a hot take for me when it comes to weddings, and I can tell you this just based on my own experience, is not every camera is good for weddings. I say that because you want something that's really reliable.
Sony's on it. Not Canon. Sony. Yeah.
You want something reliable. I know the recommended is usually like 2 SD card slots. You want something with quick autofocus as well. Sony has that. Certain Canon cameras has that. Just really be careful on what gear you're using. You want to something as well that's good in low light. There's many more details I can go into. I made a whole TikTok video talking about this because I think the video was talking about shooting a wedding on a Canon Rebel, and I was like, I would never ever do that. I would never even recommend shooting anything of that large scale on a Canon Rebel. Get at least a mirrorless camera. Rent one if you have to. Renting gear will save you sometimes. Renting gear, depending on what you're doing, obviously be smart with it because that's an extra expense, but you can find ways to incorporate that into your budget and whatever you're charging for the project. But renting gear will save you. I've done this twice for a wedding, and for a proposal I went ahead and I rented a Canon RF24-70 lens because I have 2 prime lenses. Yeah, they're good for that, but I didn't want to have to worry about constantly switching between 2 lenses. And when I tell you that this lens, it was already my dream lens before using it, but renting it for those 2 times just added on to that being my dream lens because it was just perfect for everything I needed. I literally was able to shoot everything with 1 lens. I noticed the quality honestly was better. It was just more sharp, and I was really able to create a whole story with what I was shooting as opposed to having to constantly switch between prime lenses and take extra time when you're doing something that's you don't have a lot of time to work with.
Dude, yeah, I could definitely talk about that, like not taking opportunities that aren't meant for you. Like some shit just not for you, bro. Like last night I had someone hit me up for to audition for a role. Dude, it was, let me tell you, I was not doing it. It was like some crazy shit, like a porn star died, like I had to play like a porn star that had a heart attack or something, and I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not like doing that. So I mean, it seems like it'll be a funny short film, but not for me. So yeah, but let me tell you, like, bro, I've been down bad to where I had to take any and which ways type of job. Like once I did go full time and it was real slow and I lost my main source of income and I had to make up for it, I definitely took whatever job I could, depending on the price. You know, if it was like an unreasonable, wasn't even worth the drive, I would not take it. But if it was just something that I didn't want to do or like didn't really do anymore, I still took it. Because man, sometimes you just gotta like suck it up. But you have to be strategic with it. If you don't want to do that kind of job, don't share it. Don't post it to your Instagram. Don't, like, you can put it in your portfolio so people can go and search and be like, okay, I need that. But me personally, like, I just never post stuff that I don't want to continuously do. Like the main stuff I just post now is like high fashion, editorial, campaign style shoots. Like, so then brands look at my page and they're like, okay, that's what we expect from this guy. This is what we want to hire him for. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely agree.
I like how you mentioned about really curating your portfolio, because that's what I've been doing recently. I sat down, did some evaluating, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to be. I'm doing great now. For example, like I think back to how I was doing a year ago from now, and I see the things I've done in the last year, and I'm honestly shocked. I'm like, I've done things I've dreamed of doing as a teenager, and now I'm doing some reflecting. I'm trying to figure out, okay, what are my next steps? What's really going to help me bring my business to the point that I want it to be? And I've realized I was like, you know what I need to do? it may hurt to do this, but I'm like, I have to stop really just shooting everything. Or if I do shoot some other stuff, really just be more, what's the word? Be more specific or particular.
Intentional.
Intentional, thank you. More intentional on what I share. For example, what I really want to focus on now is obviously I want to do more higher end work. For example, weddings, I don't mind doing this high end work. I'll do it. I'll obviously just build the right team. You'll be good with that. But I really want to focus on marketing towards personal brands, entrepreneurs, businesses. So I've been doing reflecting, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's nice now to have the artsy, creative photo shoots, but I went ahead and I literally like stripped my feed, and I didn't like remove myself from like collaborative posts, but I just hit posts from my feed, or I went through and I just archived posts that I felt like aren't the exact vibe I'm trying to go for. Like, I don't know if you guys know, I started off doing automotive photography when I started my page. I already went through and like archived that whole portfolio, reels and posts, but I also went through my tagged posts and I scrolled all the way to the end. And I went through and I either removed myself from tags or I just hid them from my profile, because I want to make sure that my profile traces are of the work I'm trying to get now. I want to really focus on the higher end work, so I don't get people that just want to hire somebody with a camera and I give them a price and they're like, how much is that for an hour? Because I'm not just working for an hour just because we're shooting for an hour.
Exactly. Yep. So I guess like closing comments, just know your worth, be intentional with what you're shooting, with your direction, and what you're sharing and how you're letting people perceive you. Especially if you want to niche down into a certain aspect, because the more you niche down, the more you look like a professional in that specific field, and in turn you could charge more, and you could really make sure your worth is reflective of the prices that you're giving our customers. So all right, so that's the closing statements for exposure therapy. I almost forgot the name again. Hey, this is our first one, so cut me some slack. But I appreciate you guys watching. If you made it this far, hopefully we have some more interesting topics for you guys in the future. This is going to be a very chill, very relaxed type of I guess podcast type thing.
Let me go.
Yeah. Spatula. So eventually we'll get a better setup instead of just a 2-camera setup that we have right now. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for joining us. Can't wait to share more with you guys. Do you have any closing statements, or?
And that's all. We'll be back. Just let us cook. We'll literally just build ideas and we'll spill some knowledge.
Facts. Yeah, we got a lot planned in the future for you guys. So thank you again for joining us in Exposure Therapy. Hope you guys have a good day and keep creating. Peace.